Quick transmission cooler update for my 2017 Sierra 2500 HD gas job. 6L90E transmission. I put a built transmission in it this year. It's Road Ripper 1000 by Certified Transmissions. It's kind of built with snow plowing or a little bit of extra towing in mind over factory. And I had it done with that billet converter. But anyway, this I've upgraded up to the B&M. I think they call it a high tech. This is the large versus the medium I had before. It's like 60% bigger maybe, and maybe like a 30% bigger diameter cooling fan. So essentially the fluid comes from the transmission and goes to the radiator. So anytime that the engine cooling is hotter than the transmission fluid, essentially the radiator is acting as a transmission fluid heater. So it comes out of the comes from the transmission, goes to the radiator, comes out of the radiator, comes to this auxiliary cooler. You know, most trucks with towing packages have it. This is the factory auxiliary, goes in, comes out. You just unscrew that. It's like a straight fitting, like an O-ring boss fitting. So do an adapter of, I think it's 3/8-6, come out of here, O-ring boss to a hose fitting 90 degrees, comes up into the bottom here where your temp switch is, and then up, and then any air can rise out into that other hose to return, and you just use a compression fitting back into the metal line here. So that temp switch there is supposed to come on, I think it's like 176 degrees, and then turn back off at 140. But I also have it set up so that I can manually, with my auxiliary switch here, number 1, and I put a little LED down there so I can see anytime the fan is running, or at least, you know, it's powered and grounded. So fan on, LED's telling me the fan's on. I got a digital transmission fluid gauge in the dash. Polar fan. As far as brackets, I took 2-inch wide by 1-inch thick, just aluminum flat stock. And I just bent it like this one here, a little over 90 degrees. Same here. It's essentially symmetrical. And up here, same thing, 90 degrees. And I just cut some angle out of it. That way the radiator isn't blocked by any brackets. And then as far as like where to screw into, I used all M6 screws, 2 screws per bracket. And I just drilled and installed these poly nuts. You can get a nice kit in Napa with the tool and everything to install those. This is from the old setup. Bracket used to go across the top, but that's the new setup.